Hi, I'm Umer, and today I'll be showing you a step-by-step guide on how to set up CloudM's archive feature and how to offboard your first user. The archive feature within the Manage application allows you to save money by allowing you to store leavers data in a cloud storage bucket. This gives your organization the flexibility to free up licenses so you can recycle them without any additional cost. The first thing to understand about the archive feature is that it's a step within the automatic offboarding workflow that you can configure when a user leaves the organization. So once a user gets suspended, the workflow triggers and executes a set of customizable steps. And the archive step, as you can see on screen, is one of the many options we offer for offboarding automation. The data is then migrated to a storage bucket within your domain and is owned by your organization. So if a subject access request is raised, then the data can be restored to any active account with a few clicks. We'll see how this works shortly. If you see on the left side of the screen, you will see that the archive feature has its own dedicated tab. And here you have the ability to configure your storage buckets. So for Google, these buckets can be created in GCP, and for Microsoft, they can be created in Azure. We have guides in our knowledge base that can help you configure these buckets and get you up and running in no time. Just search Archive Prerequisites. Once you've configured a cloud storage bucket, the next step is to connect it to the Manage application within the Archive Configure tab, as you can see on screen. This will provide the ability to select one of these buckets that you have set up for each of these automated offboarding workflows that you create. For example, you can create a group based on location, or perhaps a role in your organization in Microsoft and Google. And each of these groups can have their own storage bucket connected, and as employees leave the organization, data can be backed up to the respective bucket of choice. Once you've connected and tested the bucket in the Manage application, the next step is to add the archive step to the automated offboarding workflow and select the bucket of your choice. So let's navigate to Administrate, Offboarding Workflow. We'll select the whole organization for now. And as you can see, we have archive within there with the respective bucket for that data to be backed up to. So as a user leaves the organization, their data will be retained for restoration, ready for restoring. Let's talk about how to restore the data. On the left-hand side of the screen in the Archive tab, we can see there is a Restore tab. Data from employees that have left can be restored from this menu. So if I navigate to Restore, this will load up a list of all employees that have left the organization. And we can then click into a user, and this will then show all their mail that has been retained, as well as all their drive data. So what you've just seen there essentially is the retrieval of data from that cloud storage bucket ready to be restored via the UI. So all mail is listed for Oliver, as well as drive documents and folders. We can apply a set of filters such as date range, recipient, and even if the mail has an attachment. So after selecting what we need from a user's archive data, we can click Restore and start typing an account that exists in the domain. So let's click what we need, and let's click Restore. This will prompt us to select an active account and add a label. This will drop down the active account and assign a label so the end user who receives this information will be able to identify what has been restored. It is important to know the difference between Microsoft and Google and how they handle the restore. If the data is restored in Google, the restored drive documents will appear in the drive of an end user that we have selected with the same folder structure, and the mail will appear in the end user's Gmail with the same label structure. However, if the data is restored in Microsoft, then the drive documents will appear in the end user's OneDrive with the same folder structure, and the mail will appear in a separate folder within the end user's Outlook. Once restored, this mail and drive data is ready for use by the end user. It is important to know that the application copies the data from the bucket to the account and does not move the data from the bucket. Retention periods can be set for both mail and drive. By default, there is an indefinite retention on storage buckets, but this can be configured to retain data for a certain period of time from the time it was archived. And there we have it. You restored your first user using CloudM's archive feature. If you would like any more information, please get in touch with us. But for now, goodbye.